All right. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. Pray everyone is doing great. Thank you all very much for taking time out and joining us for our Friday Coffee with the Sheikh open question answer session. I really appreciate it. For those of you, if this is your first time around, it's an open question answer session. So feel free to ask any questions that you might have, or if you want to ask on behalf of someone. Also, everybody who's streaming live, you can drop your questions in the comment section as well. Number two, please don't forget to grab your snacks, dessert, drinks, coffee, tea, all that good stuff. I want to just appreciate and thank the volunteer team that's working very hard a week in and week out inside the kitchen there. So please make sure to help yourselves and grab some good food there. And then, of course, three, if you have any questions, I'll come around with the mic. Just raise your hand and I'll get the mic over to you. We're going to, of course, always try to start off with a short reminder. Please don't forget, tonight is our community potluck. Even if you didn't bring anything, not a problem. Hang out with us. We're going to get started at 8 p.m. So our class, then we offer our prayer. Then we'll come back and have our community potluck as well. So if everybody wants to hang out with us, that'll be great. We're blessed, of course, as usual. We have our dear Sheikh Jibeel Speight. Sheikh Jibeel Speight is the director of Muslim Life and Educational Chaplain at Chapman University. Sheikh Jibril, of course, embraced Islam many years ago. He then moved and studied and lived in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, before, of course, coming back here and joining us in the trenches for a number of years. So it's always a blessing to have, of course, our dear Sheikh Jibril with us. We'll start off with a short reminder, and then we'll go ahead and get over to the questions. Sheikh Jibril, as always, thank you so much. May Allah reward you and bless you. And the floor is all yours.
In the name of Allah, the Lord of mercy, the bestower of mercy, praise and thanks belong only to Him. May peace and blessings be sent upon the one who has been sent as a mercy to all of creation, our master and our leader, Muhammad, and upon his family, his companions, and those that follow them excellently and righteously until the day of recompense. In the Holy Quran, the Muslim scripture, in the 21st chapter, verse number 53, we are informed of a principle of life. And that principle of life goes like this: every soul tastes death. And we will test you. We will test you with unpleasant and pleasant things. And all of you will return to us. So there were three things that Allah mentions in this particular verse. The first is every soul shall taste death. The second is that we will be tried with unpleasant and pleasant things, and that we will return to Allah. Some lessons that we can learn in the short time that we have before I entertain your questions. The first thing is that our life revolves around, or rather, our life is four things: existence, death, resurrection, and accountability. Again, existence, death, resurrection, and accountability. Looking at the first two, which is existence followed by death, that is where we experience unpleasant and pleasant things in this life. And which leads to the second point. The second lesson is that when it comes to unpleasant and pleasant things, it is Allah and only Him that allows unpleasant and pleasant things to occur. So He's created that. And He's also created the different ways that we deal with, or I should say internalize, those different unpleasant and pleasant things. Like right now, I'm enjoying this tea right now. This is a pleasant thing for me. And I'll be tested with this. How so? Let me tell you a story. With respect to the unpleasant, we have that the messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned that there are several things that a Muslim will be going through, and it is an opportunity to have their sins forgiven. He mentioned that no Muslim who was afflicted with anxiety, grief, stress, sadness, and there are some others that he mentioned, And when they go through that, that it is an opportunity for sins to be removed. So when a person goes through sadness or grief or even injury, even getting pricked by the thorn like on a rose bush or something of that nature, all of that is an opportunity to have one's sins forgiven. Oftentimes when we go through unpleasant things, and this is something for you new Muslims to keep in mind. Okay, you've accepted Islam. We're extremely happy for you. We can't describe how happy we are for you. But you got to understand something. You will be going through unpleasant things. That is the life that we go through. The question at hand is that what should I do when I experience unpleasant things? The most important thing that is demanded is that I have to show perseverance whenever we experience anything, no matter how unpleasant it might be. From maybe us breaking a fingernail, from our car breaking down, to something made us sad, something made us worried, or whatever the case may be. It's an opportunity to get sins removed, as strange as that might sound. But that is a gift also from Allah, the eternal creator. Now, on the other hand, we're also tested with pleasant things. So let me tell you a story. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, one day, this is when he was in Al-Medina, the city that he immigrated to. He immigrated from Mecca to Al-Medina. So one day he leaves his home, peace and blessings be upon him, and he comes across his two companions, Abu Bakr and Umar. These two would be the first two caliphs after the death of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, who would run and expand the Muslim empire. So anyway, the Prophet goes out of his residence and he happens to see his two close companions and he asks them, why are y'all outside during this nighttime? And they said, we hungry. They had no food. They had no food. And the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I swear by the one that has my soul in his hand, I left my house for the exact same reason. So we got three people, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, who immigrated to a new land, who is flat out hungry. Poverty was very, very intense during that time period. The riches of the Muslim empire didn't really occur until after the Prophet died. Anyway, so the Prophet and these two companions, they leave their respective residences. They are in search of food. Imagine that. They're in search of food. And so they come across this one particular person who's considered of the helpers. And they go to the residence. They find out that the man of the home is not home, but the woman of the home is home. And so the Prophet asked the woman, where is so-and-so? And she said, he's not here right now. He went out to get us some water. Okay. And then right after that, the man had some water. He was extremely happy to see the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and his two companions. He said that, I praise Allah for the one who's honored me with these honorable people. And then after that, he told him to wait. And then he went and he got a big old bushel of different types of dates. He put it in front of them and said, eat that. What were they looking for? What were they looking for? They're looking for food. They got food, didn't they? Okay, I ain't done. Then the man said, hold on, eat that. Then he went to get a lamb. And the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, don't kill it, don't slaughter a lamb that is milking her children. So he found another lamb, slaughtered that lamb, cooked it, and now they got lamb. They got lamb, they got dates, and they got water. What were they looking for? Okay. So they eat, they get their full. They are full now. And then after they got their full, they were nice and full. You know what I'm saying? Like you get this potluck, you get nice and full. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said to them, I swear by the one that has my soul in his hands, you are going to be asked about this moment of happiness, of pleasure. I swear by the one that has my soul in his hand, you are going to be asked about this moment of pleasure. So, okay, now we have an idea that we're going to be tested with unpleasant stuff. We're going to be tested with pleasant stuff. I told you what to do, or advised you rather. What should I do when I'm experiencing unpleasant stuff? Be patient, be perseverant. Okay, what do I do when I experience pleasant stuff? Not that. You show gratitude. You show gratitude. That's what you do. You see, the life that we have, when Allah said that we test you with unpleasant and pleasant things, goes back to two things. While we're alive, we'll be tested with unpleasant, which hopefully demands us to be perseverant, and we'll be tested with things which are pleasant, which demands for us to be grateful. Those two things are the key when we go and die and become resurrected and then be held accountable, because we're going to stand before the eternal Creator, and He's going to ask us, how did you act when I tested you? So this is what I have to share for you today. It's a little longer of a reminder, but you know what? Y'all need that reminder. And Allah knows best.
Appreciate it, Sheikh Jibeel. Thank you so much. We always appreciate the reminders. I forgot to mention, brothers and sisters and dearest guests, please forgive me. We have our trans mini kits. So for those of you, if you'd like to hear this discussion in Spanish, we are translating it from English to Spanish. You can just raise your hands. We'll come and drop off on those trans mini kits, inshallah. So let's go ahead and get started with our questions. So if you have any questions, simply raise your hand. I'll come around with the mic and we'll go from there. And if you can just introduce yourself, that'll be great as well.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I came in here with questions.
It's all right. It's all good. That's why you're here.
I caught the end of it. It sounded like something I really needed to hear. I've been a Muslim for, sorry, my name is Maricela.
What's your name again?
Maricela. Mari for short.
No, what's your full name?
Maricela.
Maricel.
Yeah.
I say it right?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Good.
I've been encountering
How long you been Muslim again?
8 months.
8 months. Allahu Akbar. Okay.
So yeah, September.
All
So,
right. All right.
I've been encountering recently a lot of like people coming at me really disrespectful for my choice. And I don't, these are tests, and I don't think I'm passing them.
Okay.
I'm just being really honest, and I really need
Please do.
direction or some type of advice.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I've made my way up here today.
Okay.
The other day, someone approached me and was disrespecting the prophet, and it was just really hard for me to control myself. And when the person stepped to me, I did punch them in the face, and I was fully in a hijab. And I know I probably wasn't the best response, but I don't really take well with it. I come from the streets for real. So I'm coming from a whole different world. And when people come step to me, first off, and then they're being disrespectful about it, it's not like a cool debate or you're just asking questions. You're just straight out disrespecting me, disrespecting my religion, disrespecting my prophet, and I'm not going for it. But how do I go about that in a different way? Because I know I probably shouldn't be punching people. It's not the best representation of what I'm trying to be. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all. I brushed up here like I needed.
Where you from?
I'm from Pomona.
Pomona.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I don't know much about the SoCal area. I'm from Brooklyn, all right?
Okay.
So the way that you said that just kind of got me laughing about some old school stuff back in the day, man. So and then you said I punched him dead in his face. I was like, well,
yeah, I did.
Now we laugh about that, but honestly, sister, that wasn't cool.
I know. I feel terrible about it. That's how I know something about me is changing, because I've never felt terrible for punching people in the face.
Well, that's the first thing.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Let me say it like this. Number one, I appreciate, and I think all of us appreciate you coming up here like this in this traffic and sharing this with us. So may Allah bless you and reward you for your efforts coming up here. That's number one. Let's get that out the way, because that's important. Number two, I personally appreciate your honesty and how you feel about all this and how you usually may deal with something like this. Here's the reality. in the Holy Quran, it does mention that, and Allah addressed the Prophet directly by telling him this, that there are going to be times that your chest is going to feel tight for what they say to you, right? In moments like that, remember your Lord. Remember your Lord if you can, all right? Try to remember your Lord if you can, and be with those who pray, and be with those who pray, and worship your Lord until you die. So listen, just so that you don't feel too bad, you need to understand as well that something like that happened during the time of the prophet as well. All right. Wherein what happened was, one time Abu Bakr, I mentioned his name before, he was sitting with the prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and some polytheists came, started insulting the prophet, this, that, and the third. Abu Bakr was cool for a minute. He was like, all right. And they kept going and going and going. At that moment, he stood up. Then he went at him. He went at him. At that moment, the prophet got up and left. He said, where you going, prophet? And the prophet said, when you held yourself together, there was an angel there for you. But then when you decided to go after that person, the angel left and the devil came. So here's the thing. My encouragement to you is, next time, try. Ask Allah, okay, oh Allah, I'm asking for your help. Protect me from the devil. Go the other way if you can. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If he put his hands on you, then you bust him in the jaw. Okay?
It will, like, the area, like, I used to be like from a gang. So it was somebody who was from my hood who ran into me at a grocery store. I've literally walked away from my whole life to walk this way.
Wow.
So
May
I'm
Allah
just
bless
like
you.
walking
Yeah, that's
solo.
real.
So when people see me, some people are like, this is great, you're doing great, so on and so forth. But I sometimes get people who are just so disrespectful.
Yes.
And I've never been disrespected so much. Like I'm not trying to glorify sin or something, but people scared of me for real. So it's
Yeah,
just
I hear you.
weird that
Yeah,
it's
I hear
weird,
you.
that like I'm walking this way and now it's just like the door is open for disrespect.
Yes.
And
But it's also open for respect too. Because you
yes,
just said that you got support from
yeah,
people
I
as
get a
well.
lot of I get a lot more respect than I do get disrespect.
Oh, that's beautiful.
To be honest,
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yes.
I just don't. Yeah, I just have to work on my patience, I guess.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I
Absolutely.
don't feel good about responding the way that I did.
But you know what? That not feeling good, that's a sign that you have, and Allah knows best, that's a sign you have some strong faith in you. You need to understand that. You hear me?
Yes.
Now, the fact that you feel bad about that, like you don't feel good about that, that says a lot about how Allah has blessed you with the huge amount of faith that you have. All right. So you should thank Allah for that too. All right. Okay. You slipped up. It happens. Word. It happens. All right. Okay. So now you know what you got to do next time. Okay. And may Allah protect you. And may Allah bring you the people who respect you and support you. And may those numbers increase. And may some of them be Muslim too because of you. Ameen.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Appreciate my Sada. Thank you so much. And again, I really appreciate everyone's questions that you guys do, the courage that it has to ask these questions. So really appreciate it. Ken?
Hi, my name's Kenny.
Hello, Kenny.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
I've been Muslim for 1 week today.
Oh, you've been Muslim for a week?
1 week.
All right.
1 week.
MashaAllah.
So a disclaimer before I ask the question, I've already made this decision no matter what the answer is. I've been looking, trying to research a little bit online about it, but it's kind of embarrassing. It's not embarrassing to say, but I am a professional poker player. I do pretty good at it. I was just wondering what's the, is it allowed? Is it not allowed being a professional? I know it said something about gambling is frowned upon. I don't consider it gambling.
You just said you're a professional poker player.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So first of all, Kenny, welcome to the billions of people, exactly, that believe what you believe. So I'm happy for you, man. Now, as you probably already know, when you become a Muslim, there's some lifestyle changes you got to make. All of us have gone through it, and we still going through it. Part of that is to look at one's life and ask himself, okay, what does the Quran and what does the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, have to say about this? This is how now we have to shift our focus now, right?
Sure.
Cool. Excuse me. In the Holy Quran, the second chapter, it is mentioned there, they ask you about gambling. They ask you about drinking, in other words, intoxicants and gambling. Say to them that it is a huge sin and some benefits for people. However, the sin is greater than the benefits.
Okay.
Scholars of Islam have discussed this. You should know that gambling, poker, etc., that was around well before Islam even came.
Right.
So it was like well known in the Arab civilization. Scholars have deducted, and there are other narrations from the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, indicating that gambling of any type, no matter how small it is impermissible, forbidden.
Okay.
Okay? So now that I told you, of course, you have choices. Either you can continue what you're doing, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if you do, you're gonna earn sin. And not only that, but your money is not pure. This is the biggest part as well, is that the money that we earn, we have to try our best to keep it as pure as possible. Earning money from gambling or intoxicants, whether it be wine drinking, rum drinking, liquor drinking, basically, or other types of intoxicants, all of that is impermissible, making the money impure. Now, when a person decides to continue in that particular lifestyle, chances are that when they ask Allah, they're not going to get nothing. Why? Because their life is impure, that's why. So my beloved brother, I encourage you to do your best to get out of that as fast as you can. Go.
That's why I gave the disclaimer. So since last Friday, I haven't played, and I'd already made the decision. If it was either this or that, it's obviously going to be
I'm
this.
happy for you.
Absolutely.
I'm
So,
happy for you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very happy for you. And may Allah continue to be with you. And let me tell you something too. We ask Allah to give you something better than what you had before. It might take a little time, but Allah is there. You got to trust that. You got to trust that. So now you're going through your test too.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. 1 week, man. MashaAllah.
That's beautiful, man.
That's beautiful, man.
1 week, and he left it for the sake of Allah.
I mean,
And I was thinking the same thing you're thinking, Sheikh.
That's
that
nice.
May Allah replace it. Inshallah,
With
Allah
something
will, I
better.
will replace it with something better.
He will.
Inshallah, He
He
will.
will.
You know, just
Yeah,
be
he will.
patient.
He will.
That was beautiful, man.
Yes,
May Allah
sir.
bless you, brother Kenny.
Ameen. Yes, sir.
Last Friday, 1 week today, I got the call. Literally, when he accepted Islam from another mosque, they called us. They said, "A brother accepted Islam. Please take care of him."
MashaAllah.
It's our
Beautiful.
honor, man. It's our honor and privilege, Kenny. Thank you.
MashaAllah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
All
All right.
right.
What else y'all got? Come on, y'all.
Question, sister.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum
So
salam wa
nice to see
rahmatullahi
you.
wa
It's been a
barakatuh.
while.
Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering if you could, and I know I've asked this question before, but I need a refresher. How do we know if we're falling into an innovation or bid'ah?
How do I know if I'm falling into a heretical act? All right. I prefer that translation, not innovation.
Okay.
Innovation can be positive or negative. Heretical act is definitely negative.
Okay.
So that's what you're talking about. How do I know if I do an act is heresy? Okay. Heresy is two types: heresy in belief and heresy in action. Heresy in belief, heresy in action. I'm presuming you're asking about the latter, not the former.
Yes.
Okay. Heresy in action. First of all, what is the concept of heresy in Islamic theology? Heresy in Islamic theology is an action wherein it is assumed that it is a part of religion and religiosity when it is not. Examples of heretical actions would be something like this: taking a portion of the Quran and putting it around one's neck or around one's home or on the door, thinking that that will water, thinking that just hanging it up would scare away evil spirits. That's a heresy. There's nothing in the Quran or Sunnah that says something like that. For example, y'all may like, who does that? Trust me, some cultures have done that. Trust me. You got to trust me on that. Okay. That's one example. So in essence, it goes back to one thing, Sister Catherine, which is when someone does an action, the first thing, and how long have I been with y'all? 3 years now? 4 years now? Longer? Really? Allahu Akbar. Huh? Pre-Rona? 5, 6 years? SubhanAllah. Feel like it's some time? Nah. MashaAllah. One of the things that I always like to say is what? You got to ask yourself, what? Is that in the Quran? Is that in the Sunnah? Where? Does it have a basis in the Quran and Sunnah? You see, something could say something, or the idea behind it either gives you a yes or a no. So that's what you got to do. That's what I got to do. Every time we see anything being done, we got to ask ourselves, wait a minute. Is there a basis in the Quran and Sunnah for that? Did the companions do anything like that? Did their students do anything like that? Did their students do anything like that? Those 3 generations, those 3 are our guideline in seeing how Islam functions individually, collectively, in any society. You getting all this?
Yes.
Okay. And Allah knows best.
So would you say that this kind of action is usually born out of like our own ideas or culture?
So the sister wants to know, okay, when someone does a heretical act, what's like the source of that? Usually it goes back to the following: ignorance. And also goes to this idea of just falling into one's desires, sometimes arrogance, sometimes culture. Those are the 4 major ways. Those are the 4 major ways. And all of them can be detrimental, some worse than others, unfortunately. And so with regards to, and then you touched on something as well, which is we got to stop saying what I feel. You dig? We got to stop saying what I feel. I feel this is good. All right, here's the Quran, here's the Sunnah, the prophetic traditions. Show me. I don't know about all that. What you mean you don't know about all that? You just said you feel like this is a good thing. Show me how. I want to know. Oh, you just saying that because you're a sheikh. Listen, man, before I became a sheikh, I asked the exact same question. Anyway, you got the idea?
Yes, I have one more question.
What?
This kind of leads me into
I had to do that. It was fun. Yes. Mm-hmm.
My other question is about hadith. So when we read hadith, right?
Stop. Hadith means prophetic traditions. Okay, go.
Do we take it as it is, like word for word, or can there be can it apply to things that are like the underlying lesson apply to other things?
Prophetic traditions, of course, can be statements, actions, or tacit approvals. Once again, that which is considered to be a prophetic tradition either is a statement. For example, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, indeed, all actions are based upon intention. for example. Or we have an action. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to raise his hands a certain direction before, and it would say Allahu Akbar before he started his prayer. That's an action. And then we have tacit approvals where the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, would look at an action in front of him and would not condemn the action. Let it be. Okay? Now, you have the following ways of engaging the prophetic traditions. Sometimes a jurist has no choice but to look at the wording, and that's the wording, that's it. It is what it is. And sometimes the jurist also has some leeway or flexibility wherein it is possible that other interpretations are valid. Let me give you an example. Now, before I give you the example, understand something very carefully. I said jurists. In other words, people that have been trained, that have qualified, they know exactly what they're doing. Okay. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever fasts the month of Ramadan and then follows it with 6 from Shawwal, this month that we're in right now, then it is as if they fasted the entire year. The scholars differ on this. What does that mean, from Shawwal? Does it mean within Shawwal, the 10th month, the whole? In other words, do I fast 6 days in Shawwal? Because the preposition in Arabic can mean that. Or does it mean beginning from Shawwal? Meaning that I fast a couple of days in Shawwal, and then a couple of days in the 11th month, a couple of days in the 12th month. You know what? That's a legitimate difference of opinion based upon the language. You dig? Okay. So I gave you again some situations depending upon the jurist. They have no recourse, but that's it. It is what it is. And then other times, well, there's flexibility or leeway for possible interpretation that falls within the circle of the general spirit of theology, rulings, ethics, and morals, called Sharia in Arabic. You understand? And Allah knows best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Two questions here, and we'll come over to Miguel there. Just a friendly reminder, brothers and sisters, if you haven't as of yet grabbed your snacks, your sandwiches, coffee, and tea, please make sure to do so.
Bismillah.
Okay. Another thing, I've been getting people asking me like what sect I am, and I just say I'm a Muslim, like trying my best. And I get people like, I had someone tell me yesterday that I need to cover my face because I'm causing fitna, and I was like, my face is causing fitna, so I'm covered. Like, so I'm trying to figure out. Like how. I'm sorry. Like, what am I? What
First,
sect
let me
am
ask-
I, or what am I?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what do I need to read, or what books do you recommend
Yeah.
so
All
that I
right.
can learn more about
Got you.
the Prophet and his companions? Because a lot of my
Nice question.
background is the Bible.
Yes.
So someone gifted me a book of the prophets, and I'm just like, yo, I know all these stories. Like, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, I need to learn more
Sure.
Islam. So I need if you can suggest some books for me to read.
Okay. So first of all, where do you usually pray?
There's a masjid right down the street from my house in Claremont. So,
Oh, the Claremont Masjid.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So I ain't see you this past Friday. I go there every third Friday.
I'll be ducked off.
I
Get
mean,
outta there.
every third.
I ain't trying to cause
Shameless.
no fitna.
Look here.
Okay.
Look here.
I'm outta here.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug. I'm there every third Friday. I give a Quranic explanation.
Okay.
All right. You're most welcome to come. Number one. Number two. About you covering your face, it causes testing, what have you. The reality is, they actually gave you a compliment, but that is not the strongest position. Covering the face is not the strongest position. Yes, I said it. I know some sisters do cover their face.
I do
You
sometimes
not.
of my own choice. I didn't know.
You have a choice to do that, okay? Number 3, Sunni or some other sect, your answer was perfect. I'm a Muslim. Full stop.
Okay.
You've been Muslim for 8 months.
Yeah.
That's it. You tell everybody I'm a Muslim. I don't know no sect. All I know is I'm a Muslim. I believe in Allah, His Messenger, Quran, and Sunnah. Assalamu alaikum. That's
Yeah,
it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
All right. Now, books. I encourage every new Muslim to make sure that they have a decent understanding of the pillars of faith. I encourage every Muslim to understand the pillars of faith. There is a six-part book series. You can find it online, written by a sheikh named Dr. Omar Suleiman. May Allah have mercy upon him. I'm sorry, not Omar Suleiman. Omar al-Ashqar. Omar al-Ashqar. May Allah have mercy upon him. Excuse me. Wherein he's written a 6-volume, and I don't mean volume like encyclopedia, like it was like that, where he covers different parts of faith in Islam. I will send the link to Jamal. If you want a hard copy, let me know, and I can maybe dig in my pocket and try to hook you up, inshallah.
Thank you so much.
All right? Cool. Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name's Gabriella, and I've been Muslim for 1 year. And I'm
MashaAllah.
also a fellow New Yorker from a rival borough.
MashaAllah.
I'm from the Boogie Down Bronx, so I had to represent. And
She's from the Bronx. Where in the Bronx? Where?
Pelham Bay.
See, that's all right. That's all right. We cool.
We cool.
We
All
cool.
right.
All right.
My first question is
No, it's a New York thing, man. I'm from Brooklyn. She from the Bronx. I mean, anyway, go on, sis. What you got?
so my first question is I'm really trying to get into reading the Quran.
Mm.
Do you have any tips as to how to digest it? Should we read it in order? How would you suggest that we go about
Yeah.
it?
You know, there are different ways. The sister wants to know how can I, basically get maximum benefit from the Quran in different ways. I'm sorry. Question: English or Spanish? Both? What?
Just English.
English. Okay. Here's my suggestion. I say start from the beginning. Start from the beginning and dedicate a certain amount from your trusted translation. Allocate time every day to read a couple of pages. I say a couple of pages from your translation. Okay? Have a notebook and write some lessons or even questions that you got from what you've read. That's one way. The second way, now the first way is going to take you longer. That may give yourself a year to go through the whole translation like that. You understand? That first way is more of a type of deeper dive of the Quran, of the translation. The second type is to just read, if you are, and I'm assuming you are a reader, to just sort of read it in a short time period without much deep contemplation. Just read it. That gives you a shorter time. So, and then when you finish it the first time, read it again and again and again and again. So there are two ways I would recommend. One is a deep dive, wherein you have a page or two with a little notebook or whatever you're going to use. Write some questions, take some notes, etc. Right? Reflect upon it. Right? How does that help you in your understanding of Islam? How does that help you in your understanding of faith? How does that help you in your understanding of morals and etiquettes? Huh? And then the second way is just generic reading, like a surface reading. And you do that repetitively. All right?
Okay,
That would be my suggestion.
I appreciate that. And then I had a second question.
Mhm.
Some sisters have been telling me that nail polish is not permitted, and I like using nail polish. So is that in the Quran, or can I keep using nail polish?
All right. Nail polish and as well as toe polish, I presume. Okay. Here's the problem with the nail and toe polish. It blocks the water when you do ablution. All right, so it's not an issue necessarily of impermissible or permissible, but more of a thing of that it stops the water from penetrating the nails when you do ablution. And of course, if that happens, that means that when you stand up to pray, you really didn't. There's no prayer because you're not in purification. Okay. Now, what about when a woman is on her menstruation cycle? Can I wear it then? Yes. Okay. Yes, I can. All right. So that's when you can wear it, and Allah knows best.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am. Water soluble? Oh, yes. There's a water soluble, Gabriella. Gabriella. Hello. There is a water soluble type that you can wear as well. And it's just to just remind me. Thank you. May Allah bless you. All right. There's a water soluble version that you can find. And you know, when I first became Muslim, that stuff wasn't around. Yo, I'm still talking. When I first became Muslim, that stuff wasn't around. But mashallah, things have grown and changed a lot. So you can find that stuff online. You can find it in the sisters' boutiques in Little Arabia. You can find it there, inshallah, Allah willing. Huh? Even at Target? Even at Target or Target?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So I've been a Muslim for 172 days.
Allahu Akbar.
And I had a question. So when I did my Shahada, all my sins were forgiven, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so prior to that, I was married, but I've been separated for about 3 years. So, like, is that a sin? Am I living in sin?
How so?
Because we're not together, we're separated, and I haven't officially gotten a divorce.
Okay.
So I'm still technically married.
You're still technically married. Okay. Well, here's the deal. For your specific situation, I'm presuming you're not. Is he Muslim?
Sorry?
Is he Muslim?
Oh no.
He's not Muslim.
He doesn't believe in anything.
Oh, okay. So let me finish. Let me wait until there's some chairs here. There's some chairs over there. Welcome.
But if you were gonna say to like sway him to become a Muslim, and
No,
then
no, no,
I'm like, I
no,
don't
no.
want to.
I didn't know.
Okay.
So, yeah. And you're not in sin whatsoever. I mean, from my understanding, the process for the divorce is going through. Is that what I'm understanding?
No. So I did it, but he never signed, and then they wanted me to pay $400.
How much?
400.
For
and
what?
I was like, for me to finalize my divorce because he never signed the documents. So, but I'm still granted the divorce. But they said I have to pay out of pocket $400.
So what's the ruling? Are you
So then I
divorced
was
or not?
like, no, that was like 3 years ago when I did that. And so now it's like, it's null, like it just dies off. So you have to go and do it again. But I know he's not going to sign. So I'm still going to have to pay those $400. But
Okay.
I'm saying I'll pay them. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So number one, pay that off. Like get that done. All right. If you need some help, then ask maybe some people here can assist you, inshallah, Allah willing. Number one. Number two, about you being in sin. No, you're not in sin. You're not in sin at all. That happened before you became Muslim. Excuse me. So as long as you're not thinking about marrying him, which then I would say, nah, sis, you can't do that because you cannot marry a non-Muslim man. Okay. So you're fine.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. MashaAllah.
Miguel?
Over here. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So my question actually backs up with the Sister Catherine's question
Uh-huh.
about the, I guess, heretic or kind of customs you.
Yes, sir.
Ikram. So I know the scientific method was accumulated by the Islamic society, or when the Islamic culture flourished in the Golden Age. Now with new science coming out and saying that there possibility might be of, how can I say this? UAPs and parallel universes, now that they're kind of getting closer to it. And I know it sounds funny, but they're I follow a lot of physicists, and I like to learn about physics.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that they're getting closer and closer to saying, hey, there's technology and new patents on ideas that are getting out there.
Uh-huh.
Islam is open for that, right? When we do find something that comes out,
Mhm.
hey, this is a weird new way of looking at it, wavelengths and
Mhm.
physics.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You reminded me of my days of engineering. Okay, so
Perfect.
we we as Muslims would be wrong in saying that, for example, put it to you like this: when Allah says He created everything, that's literal. So, if in fact there are other universes, etc., that's possible. That is possible. What does that look like? We don't know. We have no idea. Okay, and Allah knows best.
So if I dabble into, I don't want to sound like heretic when I say, like, for example, there's
I would advise you to say something like, "It is possible," and Allah knows best.
and if researching it is not considered wrong in any way, shape, or form.
Then we have to wait in light of revelation and see. And Allah knows best.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, brothers and sisters, just looking at time, maybe a few more minutes. We have
You said
7:05
we finished at
here.
10 after, or what time is
15
Maghrib?
after. 7:32-ish or something.
Okay, we got it. Alhamdulillah.
Because we have to,
Bismillah.
yeah, that's a few minutes.
We
Okay.
can do it.
All right. I got a second question. I don't want everyone to think I'm a complete degenerate with the gambling,
First of all, come on, bruh. We ain't thinking like that, man.
but I do. I do have a daytime job. I work in the mental health field, and I help people coming off of drugs and alcohol.
Oh, beautiful.
So during one of the prayer times during the day is the time that I am with the clients, and one of the requirements is I have to keep eyes on them. I cannot take eyes off of them anytime. If we go to the beach, if we go to the movies, I have to keep eyes on them at all times. If that occurs during prayer time, how do I do that?
Okay. Can you talk to your supervisor and ask for 15 minutes just to pray, and then you can watch them? Can you do that? Have you even brought that to their attention?
I haven't, because I wanted to ask first, because I just didn't know. So if I'm out, so a lot of times we take them out on outings. So if I'm out with them,
Yeah.
how would I do that?
Okay. May I encourage you to talk to your supervisor?
Okay.
Because there is a thing called religious accommodation, right?
Right.
That is a right that you have. And, offer an alternative. That is to say, okay, if you're scheduled to leave at a certain time, but it's prayer time, then perhaps ask, may I pray first, and then compensate for that time by working a little later or something of that nature. So offer that to them so they see that you're trying to be as cooperative as you can.
Sure.
And Allah knows best. Now, if you have difficulties with that, they say, no, absolutely not, this, that, and the third. Now we have a legal issue on our hands now. And that's when you would go and talk to Muslim advocacy groups to assist you in that situation. And Allah,
Okay.
Sister Cheryl said, call CAIR, CAIR.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Brother has a question right here.
Salam alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a question regarding the what's called gambling.
About
Gambling.
gambling.
Yeah, gambling. Is investing in the stock market considered gambling?
Investing in the stock market is not considered gambling. It's called investing there. And you do have some scholars that take that position, but what seems to be stronger is that it is not. but there is a caveat. You can't put your money in anything. It has to be ethical, and it has to fall in line with the things that Islam would consider to be permissible. So, for example, if somebody were to put their money as an investment in defense contracting, for example, that would be impermissible because Islam does not encourage war, but rather peace.
Yes.
Or alcoholic or intoxicants or drugs or something. No. However, there are many other companies that are ethical, and they fall in line, even if they're non-Muslim, they fall in line with the spirit behind what Islam is encouraging.
For example, Apple, Tesla,
Yeah,
Nvidia,
now Tesla, from my
AMD.
understanding, it's possible that I think that is permissible. I'm not too sure, so don't hold me to that. I would encourage you. Let's see. I know. You have a smartphone?
I do.
There is an app called Zoya. 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 There's an app called Zoya. Zoya.
Yes.
And you can use that to do research as to whether or not companies like Apple, Tesla, etc., they fall within the circle of permissible investing, be it stock or otherwise, and Allah knows best. So that should help you out, inshallah. Okay.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you for clarifying.
Of course.
All right. Anybody want to close it out with the last question?
Can I ask some? Can I ask some? I mean, can a brother
Yes.
get some more chai?
Yes, we'll get to that. We have Kamaria for you there too, ya Sheikh. The hot and cold at the same time. The cold Kamaria there.
Alhamdulillah. I appreciate that.
Most welcome.
What's this here? Oh, hibiscus.
Larry?
Oh, mashallah. Cool.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name is Larry. I've been a Muslim for a good year now.
Hello, Akbar.
Yeah.
Mashallah. All right. All right.
So this Ramadan, right? This
Yeah.
past Ramadan, I'm not a big reader, so I just told myself like just focus on one chapter, and that chapter is the second chapter, the Al-Baqarah.
Oh, mashallah. Of all the chapters, you picked the largest one.
You know how like in the chapter there's like it went from they changed the rules, like the old rules to new rules, like they changed the Qibla. Like I'm just wondering, like what others part of Quran like they changed the rules? Like just a fun fact.
Yes. Another rule that was changed was the menstruation period of a widower. The menstruation period, the waiting period for her to be allowed to pursue marriage after the death of her husband. It used to be a year, and then it became 4 months and 10 days. You'll find it in that same chapter. Huh? No, actually, that was never a changed rule. That was more of a thing of, y'all used to do that before Islam, y'all ain't doing that now. That was one of those type of things. Huh? It did change in stages, yes. It went from reminding them that y'all take grapes to make intoxicating juice, as it's called. I used to tease some of my Christian co-workers when they got that wine. So y'all got that juice, huh? So anyway, so it went it went from that to the verse that I mentioned earlier, and then after that, Jazakallah khair. And then after that, it went to indeed gambling and intoxicants are tools of the devil. Stay away from them, so as you can be successful. Indeed, alcohol, intoxicants, and gambling causes enmity. And also not being mindful in prayer. So why are you not abstaining from it? Anyway, that's more of a thing of you can maybe make that argument. That's possible. Yeah. So you got two examples right there. Okay. Another one was fighting, military engagement. In Mecca, the Muslims are being killed and tortured and humiliated. And the verses of the Quran told the believers, be patient. Be patient. When they immigrated, eventually, when they immigrated to Medina, that became no longer the case wherein they were not allowed to fight. So there's a third example. And there are others as well. And Allah knows best. All right, you're welcome.
All right, thank you so much. That's our dear Shaykh Jibeel Speight. If we can get Allahu Akbar on three. 1, 2, 3. Allahu Akbar. Allah bless you. Really appreciate it, Shaykh.
Ameen.
Please, of course, keep our Sheikh Jibril and all of our different scholars, imams, community leaders that come and help us out here in your du'as and your supplications. A few announcements, brothers and sisters, and we'll call it, of course, a session. Number one, just a big shout out to our volunteer team again, week in and week out, always helping us out. Delicious food, a lot of food here. So on your way out, if you want to grab something, that would be great. Please help yourselves. Of course, coffee left over here as well. So please help yourself. We do need a few people to help us out at the end. If we can have at least 2 or 3, particularly sisters, if it's okay, because they requested some sisters to help in the. Oh, I got it right here, Sheikh.
Hey, my man.
Brooklyn, you know? I understand Brooklyn.
Thank you, sir.
So if we could get some help in the kitchen, I would greatly appreciate it, inshallah. Number 2, please don't forget about our community potluck tonight. That means as a community, all of us get together. If you didn't bring anything, don't worry about it. Just join us. We're going to pray afterwards, of course, and then we're going to have our potluck as well. So please join us for the potluck. It's going to be right inside the multi-purpose room here, inshallah, God willing. Number 3, next Sunday, just a reminder, of course, this Sunday we have our Islam 101 class, so please do join us. But next Sunday, we're going back to the beach for our social Sunday. As you guys remember, during spring and summertime, after Fajr. So we try to get there and then get out before the big crowd comes in. So those of you, how many of you have joined us in the past when we went to the beach, Huntington Beach, on the beach actually? Just by show of hands, please.
Y'all went to Huntington Beach?
Yeah.
You went out that joint?
Yeah. We had a dawah table. It was amazing.
They ain't had a Confederate flag waving?
No, it was really good.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, we had surfers coming up to us asking us about Islam. It was really nice.
Really?
We had a table just like this, like what you're sitting on, Sheikh.
Nice.
We had it was really nice.
Good for you. Alhamdulillah. Good
Yeah,
for you.
it was really nice. So I think about, just from what I saw, I think close to 40-50% of you have joined us. For those of you, those of you that haven't joined us, you'll have a lot of fun, God willing, inshallah. So next Sunday, we're going to have it from 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. Huntington Beach. We're going to send out the information, but please don't wait till the last minute to register. Register when we send out the link. Go ahead and register, inshallah. We're going to have breakfast taken care of. We're going to get together, all that good stuff. So please keep next Sunday, not this Sunday, next Sunday in mind, inshallah, God willing. Number 3 is, of course, our little donation box. So if you can help us offset the expenses, we would greatly appreciate it. You can scan the QR code or you can just drop cash, whatever is easy for you. We would greatly appreciate it. Every week we're blessed. New faces, new people, new brothers, new sisters that are joining us here in the community, and the community is getting larger as we see. So I wanted to acknowledge a few people. Number 1, of course, you heard from our dear brother Kenny. Kenny, if you can just raise your hand for us. Kenny actually embraced Islam last Friday. So it's been Allahu Akbar. And it was beautiful because once he took his shahada, his declaration or testimony of faith, the brother that was assisting him also helps out here at the mosque. He literally called us like right after I think his declaration. They said, "Help us out." So, which is really nice. So, as an honor, Kenny, thank you for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. Number 2, I wanted to welcome our brother Aaron. Aaron, if you can just raise your hand. Aaron is on the journey to learn more about Islam. So, God willing, we ask Almighty God to open up his heart for it to embrace Islam. No pressure, no force. When you're ready, you let us know. He actually came, for those of you that went to the community picnic, which was last Sunday. Aaron just came over here and one of the brothers assisted him and then put us in contact with him. So this is the second time here, but first time in our class. Number 3, I was blessed today during the Friday sermon, as we always try to be in the lobby, the welcoming area, because we have guests joining us here sometimes for the first time. Many people that come and they just want to embrace Islam, they just walk up and say, "I'd like to become Muslim." It's like amazing, right? So we had an honor today, a privilege that we met our dear brother Bruce. Brother Bruce actually embraced Islam 3 weeks ago. It was the first time that we met him here. But what he had said was he passed by this mosque many times, but he didn't know about the programming here. But one of the brothers brought him here, and he just so happened that he had embraced Islam 3 weeks ago. So I don't know if Bruce is online. So Bruce, just wanted to welcome you, my dear brother. And then also today in the morning before the Friday sermon started, we got a call. and somebody was interested in wanting to take their shahada and become a Muslim. And so, by the permission of Allah, we were able to work with our dear brother Frankie. Frankie actually embraced Islam after the second sermon today. For those of you that were here, I think you had witnessed or saw it. So, our dear brother Frankie, if you're here online, just wanted to welcome you as well. He was not able to make it because I believe he was working today. So, again, what an honor, what a privilege that every week we're having brothers and sisters joining us. But again, as I mentioned, and a reminder to myself and by extension everybody else, make sure we stick together, make sure we help one another out. If you're from other communities, whether it's Pomona, the South Bay area, Rancho, wherever, my South OC, if you find other people that are new to Islam or they're looking into Islam, and maybe those mosques, I don't know, but if they don't have services, make sure to direct them here so that we can help them out as best as possible. We don't want anyone to fall through the cracks, right? And especially for those that are embracing Islam, it's not just you become a Muslim and then that's it. No, then the journey starts, right? So to Maricela, you mentioned about the books. We actually have a mentorship program here, which is one-on-one. We have mentors in the community that will work with you one-on-one on the basics of Islam. The articles of faith, the prayer, the ablution, the wash up, all that good stuff. And then once a year, we actually have a graduation ceremony to acknowledge and to appreciate our brothers and sisters that actually learn how to pray and so forth. So for those of you, if you're interested in our mentorship program, yeah, hi. You can message me offline. I'll be more than happy to help, God willing, inshallah. Everybody online, thank you very much. A number of people here online that are joining us here. Those that I just see here, Sister Joyce, welcome. And of course, our dear brother Sergio and Sister Consuelo and other people here as well. Food, dessert, all that good stuff is here. So again, on your way out, if you want to grab something, you're most welcome. We're going to offer prayer in the prayer hall in about 10 to 15 minutes. So if you guys want to join us inside for the Maghrib prayer, that'd be great. But also, please remember our community iftar. I want really everyone to join us and join the community here, break bread together and have a good time. But I do need everyone's help if it's okay. As you guys know, for community potluck, we need to help set up the tables and chairs. So in a horizontal fashion, if it's okay, we're going to have really quickly, just give me one, Brother Isa. Oh, vertical. You want to do vertical? Okay. So we're going to do vertical, just tables going like this and chairs on both sides. So just please make sure that the gaps are not so tight that you can't walk through. So chairs on both sides, vertical, and there's a gap in the between, of course, so we have some space here as well. May Allah reward you and bless you all, and then we'll see everybody in the prayer hall in about 10 minutes. So if we can do it collectively right now, I would really appreciate it. Again, vertical, if it's okay. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.